Hey guys, this is going to be our first official interview with the phone. We usually do it with the other camera that my wife bought me. Left it in Louisiana, so I've got to use the iPhone. We did the practice one with Sherry and I the other day, but just so lucky, this is our first day back out on the trail. Come out to find Ms. Man. Just come up here to Loft Mountain Campground and store and wanted to see if we could find a hiker. Look what we found. We found two of them, not just one, we found two. Actually, we found three, and we may get him on camera here in a few minutes. I'm excited because you've talked to me a little bit. I usually don't talk to people before I interview them. I've already got some information. I'll tell you how we usually start. I'm going to ask you to give us your trail names, and then after you give us your trail names, tell us why you decided to hike the Appalachian Trail.
I'm Polar Bear, and the reason why I hike the trail is my wife, she said, we could do this, and I said, okay, and I called her out on it, and here we are.
That's it.
Give us your trail name.
I'm Super Squirrel, and yeah, I had a stressful job, and I just feel grounded when I'm in the woods, and we just were hiking, and I said I could hike this whole thing, and he said okay, so yeah, he called me out on it, so here we are.
Let me ask about the names. How did you get your name? Trail name.
Up in Maine, every time we went by a stream or any body of water, I'd just jump in and swim in it.
And it was cold.
It was ice cold.
And who named you?
It was a group of that we were hiking with.
There was like a bunch of kids, younger kids, and I said he's like a polar bear, and then they're like, oh, that's it.
That's a cool name.
And now he looks like one. He never had a beard before.
Okay. And what about your name? How'd you get your name?
Well, I get off trail a little bit sometimes. So
Okay.
I always find my way.
She always makes it back.
I'm not very proud of that
she's
name,
Super
but I'm
Squirrel.
Super Squirrel because I always find my way back.
Okay, that's a
Yeah.
good deal. When did y'all start your and your southbounders, by the way?
Yes.
When did you start your hike? What day?
We started June 1st.
June.
The at the Katan Stream Campground, the hunt trail for the
Sure.
for Katan was not open, and we weren't waiting for it to open. We just started heading south.
Yeah, we couldn't
Okay.
wait to start.
Good deal. Right there at the base. We camped there at Katahdin Stream Campground
So
with the
we're gonna
wife. The year my wife hiked in 2014. And you've already told us why you're doing it. Your wife kind of called you out on it when you said, "Yeah, let's go ahead and leave." What has been the best thing about being out here so far this year, if you could put your finger on it?
Best thing would be just totally disconnecting from everything. TV.
Unplugging.
Unplugging.
Yeah, unplugging from the garbage on TV, that's a plus.
Yeah.
But the people have been amazing. We meet so many great people from Lakeshore House, Rebecca,
Yeah.
and Shaw's,
Yeah.
and Rattle River.
Well, that's a
Lodge,
great
Hostel.
place. Yeah, I knew the lady that he bought it from. When my wife
Amazing.
hiked, she owned it, and she had bought it because her son was through hiking.
Okay.
And she wanted to be part of it, so she
Yeah.
bought it, and she's who sold it to him.
Eric.
He-
And
he's
he's kept it the
awesome.
same way that she had it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
and,
know.
and they've just, everybody's been so helpful. They started by like doing shakedowns with our packs way back in Maine, and everybody who worked there have hiked the trail. So
Right.
it's just it's like a whole nother world.
Yep.
Yeah.
The
And
hiking
you know,
community is different.
That's the number one answer I get from everybody when I ask that question. So you're answering just like everybody else.
It's
It's
so
the people, and then they think about other things, but the people make the biggest difference.
And look, there's a deer right there. Look
Oh yeah, they're all around us. They're all around us, especially right where you are now. We just saw two black bear
yeah.
right before we pulled in here. Now you're a nurse, I believe
Yeah.
you said.
Mhm.
So can you go back? I know you can go back to that profession. Will you
Yeah.
go back?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you are
Retired New York City fireman.
New York City fireman, and you and I talked off camera about it, and it's very, emotional time now, especially yesterday and today. And you actually lost a brother, I heard.
I lost my brother 9/11, and I lost my other brother due to cancer related to 9/11.
Cancer rate.
Yeah.
Well, let me be one of the first one here today, maybe, to congratulate you for being a firefighter, and especially what all you've been through because of that. We thank you for your service, for
Thank
what
you.
you do
Thank you.
and have done in the past. Now, I've already asked y'all when you hope to get through. You said hopefully by Christmas,
Yeah,
right?
hopefully
December
before,
15th.
yeah.
a little bit before Christmas.
Yeah, that would be great.
And have you got somebody back home that's doing like a support system for you or something?
We have a whole list of friends and family that wanted to help, and they're so excited. We have a private Facebook group that they follow us on. we made all our own resupply. We cooked all our own food and made up these boxes, and everybody took one. And so we just let them know where we think we're going to be, and they send them out. So we have a whole entourage of support.
Yep.
You know, nobody's driving, but we're meeting strangers that give us rides to pick up our resupply. And a couple we met in Pennsylvania picked us up from the trail, took us out to dinner, brought us back. It's amazing.
Yeah, trail
Just
magic is
amazing.
I always bring it to people's attention that are watching these, that are thinking about hiking, and that's where a lot of our viewers are coming from. They're thinking about hiking the Appalachian Trail, so they're listening to you, what you say, that they may pick up some things. And I've tried to emphasize how important the support system is
Yeah.
on a hike. Would you say that's?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
That's big. You need a support system. For gear alone. Like I have extra gear at home. I have winter gear at home. I know we're just going to make a phone call and have our son send stuff
Yeah.
to change stuff out as the season changes.
Now, what? Go ahead.
If you don't have somebody, though, you can, if you're organized and you plan it right, you could do it yourself. You know, don't feel like you can't do it if you don't
Right.
have
Right.
a whole support system.
Right. Now, when you said you cooked all your food, now did you dehydrate
Yeah.
most of your
Yeah.
food?
Well,
All the dinners. Did
And-
315 dinners.
Really? And it's going well for you? I mean,
Yeah.
you're glad you did it that
Yeah,
way?
and we
Oh, yeah.
learned it on YouTube. We got some great tips, and I can't remember their names right now, but you know, after you dehydrate the food, wrap it in a paper towel before you seal it. This way it keeps the bags from breaking.
Okay.
And then when you're having your dinner, you take the paper towel out and you actually have yourself a napkin
have
to
a
have
napkin
for dinner,
for
so
after
it works
dinner.
out really
That's
well.
cool. That's
Yeah.
very cool.
And
Well,
we watched Darwin.
Yeah.
We learned how to make the pouches, so
Mhm.
we cold soak our food and
Right.
save a lot on fuel because it's already
That's right.
soaked. We soak it at lunchtime, and then at dinner.
At dinner, we just need up a little bit of water
Yeah.
to just to warm up the meal.
Yeah, so
What-
it's saving on fuel.
what is the tent? What kind of tent are y'all using?
We're using a Z-Pack.
Are you happy with it?
Love it so
Love it?
far.
Okay.
Yeah.
No-
I've
no
asked this
problem.
question. What is your favorite piece of gear? Your favorite piece of
My
gear?
blow-up mattress.
Blow up mattress. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. What about yours? What about?
Favorite piece of gear? Probably my trekking poles because they've
Oh,
saved me
yeah.
so many times.
You know,
That's another answer that's high up on the list.
that is a good one too.
The trekking poles,
Yeah.
safety, just for the safety of it. But the pad is a big high up on the list too. I've got a real funny question I want to ask you because the people that are watching this seem to like this next question a lot. And it's this: tomorrow night, when you get to where you're going to be camping tomorrow night, wherever that might be, you're in an opening, something like this, and a helicopter comes over the top of you and says from a megaphone, anything that you want to eat, we have it up here. What do you want me to drop for you to eat tonight?
Prime rib dinner.
Primary. I'm glad. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm glad you answered it that way.
Eggplant parmesan.
Eggplant parmesan. Do you know what the most popular answers are?
No.
Tuna fish, peanut butter, chicken. And I'm thinking, guys, listen to what I
That's
just
what we've
told
been
you.
eating all day.
Anything they got up there, and you're going to tell me this stuff you're already eating. Pizza. Some of them say pizza, and I'm saying,
You know
No.
what's funny though? I do order tuna melts when we go off into town and we
Yeah.
go to a diner or something. And I'm like, why am I ordering a tuna melt? I'm eating tuna fish all week. That's
Yeah.
funny.
That's funny. One real funny story with that in Fontana, down south, when you
Right.
get to Fontana Village, in the shelter right there, they call it the Hilton because there's a shower and all. And I asked a couple sitting there, they would, just only 200 miles in their hike. And she answered with something good like you, a real good, and I turned to him, he said, a case of beer. And I looked and I said, a case of beer? He said, you can trade a beer for a lot of food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess so. So that was a pretty good answer.
Yeah.
What would you, if you had one thing that you wanted to tell somebody that's looking at this, that they really need to think about, they're going to hike next year, would you have one piece of advice that you think is really important for somebody?
If you think your shoes are big enough, check again.
Yeah.
Try and get bigger shoes,
One,
wider.
one size bigger. Is what,
At
Yeah.
least a size
Yeah.
bigger and comfortable shoes.
okay, that's good. Now, the other question is being a couple. If you have one piece of advice for another couple that's doing this, would you have anything that jumps out to you that you may want to tell a couple?
just do what you do at home, you know, just help each other out. You got, you're a team, so
Yeah, it's a team effort, everything.
however you handle yourselves at home, it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Do you
and
think it's easier or harder to hike as a couple?
I think personally it's easier.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't do this with anybody else.
Okay.
than him.
And I always have her go first to get to west.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear push her
Yeah.
out there to get the spider web and all out of there. Guys, I'm not going to keep you much longer because I don't like to keep them from going and do what they got to do for the evening before you get in for the night. But if somebody's watching this that might recognize you, anybody you want to say hello to out there in YouTube land.
Oh, boys, Kevin, Michael, Cody, love you guys.
All right.
Definitely.
God bless every step between here and Springer. I got to get
Yes.
used to saying that because I always say Katahdin. And thank y'all for taking a minute and talking. And hopefully we'll see you up the trail. We'll talk to you a little bit more when we cut it off, and maybe we can find you when you get near Springer. God bless every step, guys.
Thank
you so much.
It started. I've got another hiker here and talked to him a few minutes. I don't have a lot of information. His story is a little different than most of it. Tell us about what's going on with you and your hiking.
So I am section hiking the American section of the Eastern Continental Trail that runs from Canada to Key West. So I'm doing it in 500 to 1,000 mile sections, and I'm out here hopefully finishing the AT and making my way down to Florida where I left off.
Tell us your trail name.
My trail name is Tick Bait.
Tick Bait.
Yeah.
How'd you get that?
You know, I got a tick down in Florida when I was hiking a section of the Florida Trail. The guy I was hiking with, his wife is a nurse, and I was kind of worried because the tick had been on me for an extended period of time, and she just referred to me from then on as Tick Bite, and I didn't really like that. And my friend jokingly called me Tick Bite all the time, and then one day he switched it up to Tick Bait,
Tick Bait.
and it just kind of stuck. So
Now, explain again to people that's like me that don't know about all these other trails. You actually start from Canada. When you complete what you're doing, you're going to have hiked from Canada
to Key West.
to Key West.
Yeah, so the Eastern Continental Trail runs from Key West up into Canada, into Quebec. The American section stops right at the Canada border in Maine. I attempted to do it in a through, but I injured my foot.
Okay.
And that's been kind of a reoccurring thing. So it seems like my body's natural limit is around 1,000 miles. That's when my feet start acting up. So
That's a lot of miles.
it is only 1,000 miles, yeah. But you know, when you're hiking a 4,200 mile trail, it doesn't really cut
That's
it.
the other question. I had
Yeah.
4,200 miles.
It is, yeah. So
That's twice as much as the AT.
yeah. So I've completed 10 states now, out of 16. It goes through 2 more states in the AT. It goes through Alabama and Florida, in
Right.
addition to the 14 on the AT.
Now, if somebody wanted to follow you or somehow or another, keep up with you, how could they do that?
I'm on Instagram at Walks Too Much,
like
and that was my hiking Instagram. It just kind of became my Instagram. I just post pictures of a lot of plants that I see and sights and different things.
Walks too much.
Yeah, and I have a map share site as well, although it's not very interesting, but it shows, I check in every night with my GPS and it shows the slow progress.
And how do they get to that?
That is a little bit more complicated. It's share.garmin.com/William Dukes,
Okay.
and that's my name, my
try to-
real name. Yeah.
Try to put that up under your face
Yeah.
or something. That way they could, if they want to go there.
Yeah,
And,
and it'll show my progress as I continue down through Shenandoah and south through Virginia and Tennessee.
what's been the best part of being out here this section?
You know, I'm just getting my
Just
legs
getting
on.
started.
Yeah, just getting started. I'm only 50 miles in right now, but it's great to be back out. You know.
What about the heat? The last, today was hot or
You
not?
know, it hasn't been too bad. I mean, it's been hot, but I ran into a lot of heat in Pennsylvania on my last section. I was going through Duncannon, and I think it was 105 real temperature.
Wow.
Not just the heat index, but actual temperature. So I've run into heat before, and this is not really that bad. Just drink a lot of water.
What kind of pack you carry?
One that's too big and too heavy with too much stuff in it.
What do you think you carry? How much do you think you carry?
I'm at about 45, and that's with full food and water. I'm at 45, 46.
But it looks like it's not bothering you.
Well, that's probably why I have those foot issues, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
But right now, you know, I don't mind carrying the weight, but you know, that might be something that ends up contributing to some of those issues that I've had. But so far, it's fine.
Yeah, and it's going to cool down starting tomorrow.
I'm excited.
Yeah, and
I'm
I
excited.
think you may have some rain coming.
Oh well,
You have to deal with that,
You're
huh?
gonna get wet one way or another.
If you're going to hike the Appalachian Trail or twice that, what you're doing, I know you're going to get wet or gotten wet before.
Oh yeah.
What's your favorite piece of gear?
Oh, you know, I guess I'd have to say my tent. I love my
Okay.
tent. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it's nice to curl up into a dry spot at the end of a long day if it's raining or cold, and you know, get into your little home.
Of all the
So-
hostels you've stayed at, no matter where, do you have a favorite?
Yeah. Well, I have a few. I really like the Notch in New Hampshire. That was nice. Rattle River was
that's
great.
nice,
I
yeah.
liked Rattle River a lot. The Everglades Hostel in Homestead, Florida was really fun and different. Yeah, and I know there are a lot coming my way in the south, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, you got a lot there.
Yeah.
One more quick question, I'm going to
Sure.
let you go. If somebody's watching this and they want one piece of advice, they're going to do the AT next year, 2020, and they're watching this trying to get information, what's the one thing that you would like to leave them with?
I think I think the one thing that you need, the one piece of information that is essential, is learning to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because you're gonna be uncomfortable the whole time, and don't expect it to be fun and comfortable all the time. It's more fun to look back on it than it is to actually do it a lot of times, and the discomfort is going to be your constant companion. So if you can put up with the aches and pains and the wetness and dampness and smell, then you can get through it.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate you taking a minute talking with us. We're going to try to stay in touch with you.
Yeah.
When you get close down to Springer, hopefully we'll get out and get to see you again.
Yeah.
Maybe get to watch you touch that plaque.
Yeah, I
when
would
you get
I would
there.
love that. Maybe we can catch an LSU game on the way down.
We'll do it.
Yeah.
God bless every step between here and Springer.
Yeah.
And see you up the trail.
All right, thanks a lot.